Now you're on the spot. Zenzele, what this belief would you like to discuss?
Still thinking.
Still thinking?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You mentioned, or not you mentioned, Zenzele mentioned Christianity. Is that a big belief for you? A core belief for you?
It is a big belief.
I'm just going to get a bit closer for the audio.
Yeah. It is a big belief for me. What can I say? Because most of the time what I've seen, the proof that I have is that when I actually do pray for something, okay, to the Jesus that we pray to as Christians, it actually does work, and most of the time it's almost even instant. So like that's what I base my belief on the fact that it actually works.
Cool.
Because
are you comfortable to discuss this belief?
Yeah, I think I am.
So what you just said, when you pray, you see that what you pray for becomes a reality.
Yeah.
And is that your main reason for holding the belief?
It's not my main reason for holding the belief.
Okay.
I would say my main reason is just that, I have faith in it. Like what I said, like they usually say we should have faith. Like Jesus is like proof for like stuff unseen.
Okay.
And then our faith kind of gives life to the things that some other people might feel are lifeless.
Okay.
Sometimes some things that don't even make sense, but they just work. How? Not really sure, but they do.
Okay. So faith. What does faith mean to you?
What faith means to me is when you believe in.
Sorry, let me just rephrase that. It might be a bit ambiguous. So the method of faith. How does it work?
It's when you believe in something that almost everyone else doesn't think works, or they don't think it exists, or almost all the facts that we have in this world tend to say it's okay, this does not exist, or maybe this is not the right path, but because you believe in it, you have faith that it's gonna work.
Okay.
That's what faith is, like believing in something that no one else believes in.
So you're saying, you mentioned evidence. Would it be fair to state it as belief in spite of evidence?
Can you like...
So like you said, somebody might say, there's no evidence of this, but faith means that even though somebody can come to you and tell you, listen, there's no evidence for this, you're still going to hold on to the belief.
Yeah, that's what faith is, basically.
Okay, cool. This concept of belief without evidence, faith, where else in your life do you apply it?
Most everywhere, most probably. Because sometimes you can get situations like, I've noticed people who, let's say maybe academically, when you they said for some people to do like their degrees, our degree has its honors, but some people have to apply for it, and then they say your marks have to be above 65. We've talked to some guy who actually applied for his honors with a mark that was even not at 60. Like, according to the facts that we have nowadays, that shouldn't even be possible. Like, he shouldn't even try, because that's what he said. It won't work, but it won't really work.
Okay.
But then what we did, we prayed with him, we talked to him, we told him to apply it, and then somehow in the end it worked out. Okay.
But you said you apply this to almost everything in your life.
Yeah.
So, is that even day-to-day simple things, like crossing the road, as an example?
I'd say that's possible, but then that's just how I live my life. I tend to believe there should be balance in the world. Like there's always balance.
If we use that example, right? And I'm not saying you should do this, but could you close your eyes and go cross the net down there on faith alone?
No, but that's the thing. Okay, you do have faith, right? But then you should also know, doing that, it's like it doesn't make sense. It's unsensible. That's why your head can make sense of things. You can actually look at this and think, you should only like apply it when you know it's okay. Now, like this is beyond me. Like there's nothing else you can do.
Okay, so can we then? I just want to make sure that I'm completely on the same page as you.
Yeah.
So you're saying in that case, you need to there's some things you can sense. You can process it and logically, and that's not really a case where you should use faith. Okay, so
I'm not saying you shouldn't use it, but I'm just saying some things now you can make sense of it. It's like you saying you can jump off a building and then say just because you believe in God, so He should save you. But then that's just you putting yourself in harm's way for no absolute reason.
Somebody could do that, right?
Yeah, they could, but that's just you putting yourself in harm's way for no reason.
But if somebody can use faith to do something which is absolutely impossible, and eventually he's going to fail, when he jumps off that building, it's going to be big problems for him. If somebody could use faith to justify that, why do you think faith is a good justification for you to believe that a God exists?
It's because, the belief that God exists, it's also based on the faith that I have on that He exists, and how I said the things that I actually pray for, they actually work. So
okay, but you said, so let's say if you pray for something and it doesn't come true, that doesn't drop your confidence in
no, it
in God.
Doesn't really, because
so sorry.
Yeah.
That does so. Prayer. That means prayer really isn't the reason why you believe.
It's not really the reason why you believe.
So faith seems to be the core of the reason you believe, right?
Yeah.
So if faith is the core of the reason you believe, how do you know you might not be the guy standing on the building? How do you know that you might not be believing something which is not true?
Yeah, but then what we get in the Bible is that you have faith now, but then you can't really force God to do some things, like when you say you're gonna jump off the building, and then now you technically forcing Him to kind of maybe catch you or whatever it is you're expecting.
Okay.
So you're forcing Him to do that now.
So you're testing it.
Yeah, you're testing it. So you shouldn't do that. That's what it says. You shouldn't test it.
Okay. But this is there a way to test whether the God exists?
That's where we get belief. You don't really test, you just believe.
But
it's gonna work.
So if I said, in my pocket I've got a little box, and there is R1 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, you don't have to go to university today. You don't even have to study. I'll give you this box. There's R1 million. You just don't open it, don't look inside it. But whenever you need finances, you can use this box. But as soon as if you doubt it, if you look inside it, then it's going to disappear, right? Would you consider that to be a good explanation? Would you take that and decide, okay, I'm not even going to finish my studies because now I'm financially sorted?
Okay, as a human being, you would be tempted, because that's temptation. Like, that's temptation at its best. But like, if you even without me being a Christian and without faith and all, like, you would also notice, nothing comes that easy without a price.
Okay.
Like, nothing comes.
But how could you determine that this box is fake if that it's real?
Technically, I wouldn't even want to determine that, because what I've noticed, nothing would ever come that easy just for nothing.
Okay, but
it's not possible.
Yeah, it's about it. But so do you get what I'm interested in the testability of something, because if I can test something, I can find out if it's true or false. Okay.
Yeah, but then if you believe and you have faith that it's true, you don't need to test it.
Okay. So, if I spoke to a guy who believes in a completely different God, right?
Yeah.
A Muslim. He might say exactly the same thing. He might say that, Ben, I use faith to conclude that Allah is the one true God and He's real.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't test Allah, right? Now, I would think that He's right or you are right. Would you agree on that? That Jesus is the God, one true God, or Allah is the one true God?
Jesus is not really God, but he's God's son.
Son, okay. So the Christian Trinity is the one true God, or Allah is the one true God? Would you say that one of those has to be true?
I believe that Jesus Christ is the way for us to communicate with God. But then I can't really, it's not really in my place to say other people's religions and beliefs are wrong.
Anybody is completely free to believe what they want to believe, right? But one of you has to be correct. At the end of the day, okay. So, but if that Muslim, who in your opinion might be serving the wrong God, right? If he says he uses faith to conclude that God exists and nothing, he shouldn't test the God, right? How can he ever find out that he's wrong?
But that's the thing, you can't really say he's wrong, because number one.
Okay, but and when I'm saying wrong, it's referring to something very specific. I'm referring to let's say there's somebody who doesn't know whether either of the gods exists, right? And he wants to serve the true God, okay? And he comes to you and he asks you, why do you believe? And he asks the Muslim, why do you believe? You both give exactly the same answer. He's confused because he needs to figure out which is the right God to worship, which is the right church to join. If neither of you have a way to test your God, how can he conclude that which one is right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. In the end, it all depends on you. I can tell you everything about my God and why he works and why I believe in him. And then when are you gonna see if that's worth it, you should also believe in my God.
But if the Muslim does exactly the same, and let's say he's even got greater stories, and the guy just bases it on that one aspect, right?
Yeah.
Would you think he's making a right decision if he said, listen, this Muslim story sounds much better to me than the Christian story, I'm going with that one?
Yeah, but that's the thing, it's not about the stories. It's about how you're gonna live your life in the end. It's gonna be your way of life. So you're gonna get to either enjoy what I'm enjoying as a Christian and the way of life that I'm living, or then you choose his way of life. Because we might sometimes explain the very same things, but other things are different. Because we had this Muslim guy at some time.
Sorry, we're a bit over time. Are you happy to continue?
Yeah, maybe a minute or so.
Okay, cool.
So, we had this Muslim guy. So he explained, how when they pray, they have a certain way of praying. Women should be behind the man, and then men should be
I don't want to get too much into the specifics of what the different religions say. But what I'm asking, do you care about believing true things?
Yeah, I do.
So you want the things that you believe to be true, okay?
Yeah.
If you care about believing true things, do you think to hold on to a belief which says I'm untestable is a good way of going about discovering true things?
It doesn't really say it's not testable. It is, but then it says you shouldn't test
it. Exactly. So if you went into a class, right? And what are you studying? Computer engineering. Okay, cool. And one of your lecturers said something about how a computer works, and he told you the reason why the computer works like that is X, and you don't question it, don't test it. Would that be a suitable explanation for you?
It's not, because then it's different. Can I say maybe sources are involved or something like that? Because the way it is, we say God is our Father, right? So would you really test that your parents love you or not? Do you ever get to just be like, okay, let me test if my parents love me?
Do you think, do you think it will be a bad thing to test if your parents love you?
Yeah, it would be a bad thing.
Okay, so if somebody was growing up in a very abusive home, right?
Yeah.
Parents beat them, parents emotionally abuse them, and they stay there because their parents love them, and it's a bad thing to test whether your parents love you or not. Do you think that guy is right in that approach?
Yeah, but that's another thing, because you're saying they're being abused.
I know, but you're saying testing is a bad thing in certain cases. And
Yeah,
what I'm asking you is, can testing do harm? Testing
It can really do harm. Because, okay, let's leave your case of being people being abused.
Yeah.
Because Mina, I would say, with the belief I have, I'm not being abused, I'm really enjoying my life. Okay. But then, let's just say, okay, your parents are treating you good, everything is nice, they give you all that you need, maybe not all that you want, but all that you need. So, do you think, Uguti, you just saying, okay, let me test if they really do love me, isn't what they're doing for you enough to show you that they love you?
But see, I think there's a difference in that example you use, because what you just explained to me is you have evidence by what your parents are doing for you physically to show you that they love you. So actually, in a way, you are testing it because you're getting evidence that says...
You're not really testing it, it's just being tested.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
on its own somehow.
Is when we started our conversation, and I'll end on this because I've already kept you very long, but when we started our conversation, you said your main reason for believing is faith. You said faith is belief without evidence, and you said faith should not be tested, right? So I'm asking, basically what I'm getting to is, if you use those as reasons for a belief, right? To me, that sounds like a recipe for holding so fast onto a belief that you might never find out, and I'm not saying you are wrong, but you might never find out whether you are wrong. Because you'll never test it. And you're saying it can't be tested. And to me, I think testing is a good thing, because testing, if you believe in true things, testing brings you in alignment with reality. So if I think, you know, I can get hit by a car and I'll be okay because I work out quite a lot. I'm a fit guy, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes you're a fit guy and you work out quite a lot and you get hit by a car and it doesn't really work out
for you. Exactly. So yeah, maybe just think about why you would be so hesitant on testing this belief, and if you wanted to test it, how you could go about doing that.
I haven't really thought of that, because I don't really think I should test it, because like I said, it already works for me. And like I said in the beginning, faith is like the belief of things which you can't see, things which maybe some other people might say they can't believe in. So that's what I'm quite getting at, which even if there's no evidence, I still believe there is Jesus, there is a God. And which another thing I might state might be, like I said, the world has its own balance somehow. So for some reason, other people seem to believe, like almost everyone believes that there is evil, but people don't believe that there is God. I don't understand how that works.
Okay.
So if there was only evil, how do you think everything in this world, there's always a balance between good and bad, and then there's always the sun shining, there's daytime, and there's also nighttime.
Let me ask you this, right? If somebody explained to you in a way that's completely satisfied you, how there can be good and evil in the world without a God, that would not change your belief, would it?
It wouldn't.
So you see what I'm saying? So even that question is kind of moot, because you are unwilling to test the belief. But look,
really not gonna do that.
It's your decision, absolutely. But yeah, maybe think about it. I've got a card here.
Yeah.
If you would ever like to discuss this again, or if maybe you thought of something else which you would have liked to mention or whatever, drop me an email. I'd really appreciate it, and I really appreciated your time, man. It was so cool speaking to you.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time.
You're even sitting down and sharing. Let's go.
He's thinking now.
What are you thinking?
Cheers, guys.